I stood on like this platform here, because obviously you've got this section here where you like can watch everyone playing. And I don't have any like skipping rope with me or anything. See, look. Stretching, touching my toes. Yeah. Stretching. Arms, underarm. Just keep stretching. Right, so you feel it all across your back section, and the muscles in the back go as you warm up, and then when I finish warming up, I'll go. Right, so you feel it all across your back section, and the muscles in the back go. So here I am, just a quick vid, and now I'm feeling fat. I ate some vegetables. Stood on this platform here, there's also a section here. So, right, today, let's get right into it. Two concepts of freedom. What are those two concepts of freedom within my brand community? It's arts and therapy. Arts and therapy are the two concepts of freedom. That's where we stay centered on democratizing the two concepts of freedom. It's arts and therapy, and we do that through the mixed media and mixed methods of my brand community discourse via my publishing and the distributions of the kind of like mixed media, multimedia publishing. And it's mixed methods. So, some new profitable digital aspects are not just profitable for the company, but profitable for everybody, even like the kind of like even prospects to subscribers, members, and everyone on the team. So, yeah, profitable to everyone. So everyone profits from the kind of most essential and like basic kind of cherished value principle of what profit really is, even if it's really, really small. I'm looking at maybe like pulling the whole organization website into like a way to create an app and put it all together along with like the WordPress blog and other aspects of the like Sincere Community organisation. The kind of political psychology of our globe right at the moment, you know, is the usual reports on interference. So we're looking at interferences. Brexit still has its Brexit issues of why it wanted to exit in the first place. In terms of what? Arts and therapy like means to like democracy and freedom. So And obviously I wanted to go about that in a democratic way and fulfill the democratic process of in the purpose of democracy. So what we're looking at within that topic is the stance and its claims. Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it a bit of both? Right. So from the social media aspect, like Twitter, Facebook, Google, you're talking civic engagements. What sort of civil status does it have? Is it hijacked? Is it of incivility? Is it uncivil? Or, what is the influence of that virtual environment? Is that virtual environment impacted negatively by a negative majority? What role does democracy have as an influence? How is it given to the peoples? The diversity of stances and their claims. What's the scope on the range of arguments that are going down? Could you report on the state of that? Are we a better educated virtual environment? Are we a healthier virtual environment? Are we actively engaged in working as well from that virtual environment and, fulfilling the actual purpose? How are we in terms of the two freedoms that are mentioned as a concept of the company's stance to be centered on a democracy and democratizing the kind of innovative freedoms within the two concepts at the organisation and as a community in general? What do we bring to that virtual table? What sort of a virtual government or sort of virtual world government are we online? The stance of media itself, or mixed media, the stance on mixed media as a topic within mixed methods, within the virtual environment of influence that is the internet and its interferences in a democratization of that sort of worldwide community. What do we represent politically? What are we regimental? Is it a regime? It's brand's all about regime, or is it all about the philosophy and psychology of being motivated and caring? Personally, the topic stance claims to be motivated and caring, and it's always going to stay like that. Positive negativity means to us, what positivity means to us, and how we can influence society to adapt and adopt a positive lifestyle within arts and therapy that's there to support you via mixed media and mixed methods. Is mixed media and mixed methods that important within the social democracy of the virtual environment? Well, we think it is. We think it is because of health, because of education, because of work. So with that, how we're centered within a stance of the topic, the usual claims are that we seem to, we've appointed within what we cover. So like comprehensively, that's our understanding of issues or problems that we are informed by and in opinions, and we as candidates encourage the rest of the community and the world, or prospects, subscribers and members, to foster the responsibility in health, in education and in work, foster the responsibility within your rights, foster the responsibility within your duties, foster the responsibility in being well informed, foster the responsibility in society, foster the responsibility within your interests, foster the responsibility in creativity, foster the responsibility in culture, foster the responsibility in what is technical, foster the responsibility in public debate, foster the responsibility in scrutiny, and foster the responsibility in reflective practice. It's a way to express the concept of the two main freedoms, that is arts and therapy. So, increase the sincerity. Let the system become sincere. Come to help. We want to help. We need to help. Social conditions all around the world must improve. And we must foster the responsibility to integrate the brand as a message, as an expression, of our rights and our duty in the freedoms of arts and therapy, In business, that's small, medium, That's the goal. That's what it's all about. That's what we do, right? It's a freedom. It's a fairness. It's a truth. Is it political? I think it is political. It's political. It's legal. Pardon me. It's our role in caring and motivation, to be a reliable influence, a good influence, a caring and motivated influence that has fostered the responsibility. That's what it's all about, in caring and motivation. And between the gaps of like policies, strategies, those that thought that did it wrong anyway, that's not what we're doing. Can we help you with that? Perhaps we can help you with that. That's what we do. In caring and motivation, we want to help. We believe that as a community, and in the message of community discourse, on the spirit of our community, the brand message that we express can help you in the concept of the two freedoms, that is arts and therapy, peoples. Between those gaps, you've got the peoples and their rights, and you're talking about the voters and justice. So like nice and simple at the end of the day, and protecting people's rights. Okay? Giving the voters' rights to justice. Okay? Or the people's rights to justice. So there we go. Even justice for the poorest people who may be homeless. Now, if you're homeless, that's a bit of a situation, because the conditions of that are sort of insufficient within being a voter, or at least they are for a bit, until you can get the right support, like, for you to become a voter. Get onto the government, concerned about democracy in the virtual environment of our digital age, right? Then, I don't know, you'd have to take a good look, get onto a good website, go to a library, go to a college, or, you know, get onto the government's own website. I mean, there's a lot to read, there's so much stuff to read, or there's, you know, good podcasts and stuff. Ultimately, nobody wants to be abused. Even abusers don't really want to be abused, right? Protests, aren't allowed. At the end of the day, here in the UK, you can petition all you want, but no protesting, please. Accessing power, or being restricted from accessing power. Now, obviously, like, the flip side of that, in terms of a democracy, the democracy has just suffered, it's just been restricted. You have no access to power. You really can't establish anything within the threshold of a democracy. Yeah, if you have no, you're restricted to have no access to power. So your capacity for democracy is not being protected, like, right. Is it an injustice? This depends. Clearly, if you're not allowed to within the restriction for a period of time because you've been bad and you did it wrong, so you can't have access to power at the moment until later on, then that's probably like, all right, that's acceptable, really, isn't it? It's that's a bit reasonable, isn't it? So that nobody else suffers in case you do it wrong all over again. So, the values, right? All of that, right? That's going to be centered on values. They're like, that meant to be like legal. So, things like equality, freedom, and then, you know, or like, you want to identify the, like, the most important, the most essential, like, attribute within the foundation of those values, and you'd want to do that in principles as well, so that it was a democracy, and you could communicate without, like, shooting yourself in the foot, or like, and having to dodge this, that, and the next, like, because you wouldn't want to, like, communicate a miscarriage, you know, within this democratic relationship. That's people's rights and their rights to justice, right? So there we go. Let's keep it healthy. Let's keep it educational. Let's keep it working. Keep it centered on the truth, and centered on fairness, and that. Let's not violate anyone unfairly, you know, with anything anything untrue. So that's not the opportunity we're looking for. That's not what's being considered, right? That's not the freedom that we want within arts and therapy. We don't want the misconception. We want to be caring and motivated in the conception that we democratize. Yeah, out of the two freedoms that matter the most, what are they? Arts and therapy. All right, so people will regulate in kind of the principle of what I was saying has got to be regulated. Principle will regulate in fairness and truth. So there you go. Just keep it really simple. So what did we have? We had equality. We had equality, and we had the kind of freedom within the rules. So equality and freedom within the rules was the values. That's where that's the foundation to what we're centered, where we're at, and being centered, right, with the concept of the two main freedoms. That's arts and therapy, where we're caring and motivated as a community in the brand. So the principles will regulate the whole lot of that. And that whole topic is the stance of that whole topic's claim. That's where you either stand with us or you stand against us. Like, you couldn't disseminate it any differently, or like, kind of like, it's not malleable enough, yeah, or palpable enough to be any robuster, yeah, or like dissimilar within the like whole point. It's just not possible. It's never happening, right? So there, that's where we're at. That's our future. There's going to be challenges like there has been in the past. There's going to be contention, not right set in stone, right? There's competition out there. There's individuals and organisations that can't be trusted. Our inherent disadvantages are like an issue. They're of risks. They are uncertainties, right? Of normal at all, really. Does that kind of undermine the tone of what I'm trying to like express? Of course it does. It undermines it, it understates it. If I just sort of like give it, oh, that's the normal resort. Normal resorts? Whoa. What do you mean normal resorts? What are you doing to that word normal? To that have to surrender, to that undemocratic, like, undemocratic, be dissolve a dilemma, like distraction and like decline. Right, I don't have to, because normal won't suffice. It's not good enough, it won't do. So let's not do that. Right, got to roll off the tongue, like it's got to be easy. It's got to make people, it's got to make people like, you just got to grip people and make them take action. Critical aspect then, the opportunities. Sure, there's some options. And throughout all of that, without manipulating the whole point of the information. That seems a bit like, it's a bit tactic, isn't it? It's a bit combat like. It's combat like, tactic sort of like, kind of little philosophy that we have within the kind of like the company psychology. So like, without manipulating that, or manipulating any prospects, subscribers and members, right, and anybody else in the rest of the world. So without manipulating either of those, and the concept of freedoms, right, which is arts and therapy and caring and motivation, like, and the principles, the most part of that, that's the experience. That's what's experienced. For the most part of that, that's the experience. That's what's experienced. Earth, we're down to earth. One more time. For the most part of that, that's the experience. That's what's experienced. The community, through race, gender and class, we're actually diverse. The team, the community is diverse. Our focus is to lead in shared leadership. That's working together and working as a community, working as a society, in health, education, right? Teamwork, yeah? In the brand and the community. That's the experience. That's what's experienced. And that's that philosophy and the psychology of the company. For the most part, that's the experience. That's what's experienced. And it motivates you. That reaches you. And you care about that. And it motivates you. Then as the founder and director, I'd like to say thank you very much. That's cool. And the message of the brand lives on. It carries on and goes from strength to strength. Sorry, and all that, and stay safe, stay well, take good care of yourselves. Peace.